Welcome to this month's webinar on health benefits of social interactions. My name is Kelly Latimer, and I am the Director of Account Management for Ebix Benefits Administration Wellness. This month we will be discussing the health benefits of social interaction and how society impacts well-being. I look forward to spending the next few minutes with you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. In the past, loneliness was something that society has mostly associated with the elderly. However, as the years have gone by, researchers are finding that loneliness affects people of all ages. 1 in 5 Americans say that they feel lonely or socially isolated. And the more research that is done in this area, the more we are finding that being lonely can negatively impact our health and overall well-being. According to the NIHCM, loneliness raises the risk of premature death as much as smoking or obesity. I know, it's really hard to believe. Lack of social connections was associated with a significantly increased risk for a number of ailments, including inflammation, becoming overweight or obese, or developing high blood pressure. Being lonely has also been connected with a 29% increase in one's risk of heart disease and a 32% increase in one's risk for stroke. There's also other things that loneliness has been associated with, including an increase in healthcare cost, stress levels, and a decrease in one's overall mental health. However, have no fear. There is a lot someone can do to combat loneliness. As the presentation goes on, we will find out exactly what those are. Some of you may be sitting there thinking, well, I really enjoy my alone time, or being alone gives me a chance to unwind. Being by myself allows me time to think about my day and what I have going on tomorrow. However, there is a big difference between feeling lonely and being alone or enjoying some solitude. Many people enjoy time to themselves, and they don't view this as something that's negative. This is solitude, or the state of being alone. However, those who feel anxious when they are alone, or are overcome by sadness, or feel isolated when they aren't in the company of others may be feeling lonely. And this feeling can have a long-term negative effect on someone, especially when that feeling is long-term. It lasts week after week, month after month, or even year after year. Some people can be surrounded by loved ones and friends and still feel lonely or depressed. These feelings can be caused by a number of factors, including depression, grief, just a general feeling of being misunderstood, and mental illness. However, there are a lot of things that you can do for yourselves or loved ones when they feel lonely, and especially if that loneliness feeling just won't go away. Throughout one's life, it's very normal to have an influx in how we feel. Some days we feel happy, some days we are sad, angry, calm, or agitated. But did you know that our society and community network can affect these feelings in our overall wellness and health? Where we live and those within our community or social networks often can have an impact on our overall well-being. For example, unexpectedly your spouse or a loved one in your family gets sick and is in the hospital. All of a sudden you find yourself needing to take time off work and devote all of your time to that sick loved one or spouse. During this time, your life has come to a standstill, but life is still going on around you. How would your community or social network step up and help? We could find ourselves in two different situations. If you lack support or that strong community network, a lot of times you're going to find yourself, coming home to an empty fridge. There's no food in the house. Your lawn is potentially getting overgrown. The housework isn't being done. If you're not able to pick up the mail, your mail could stop being delivered, and you potentially are going to miss important notices or bills. The added expenses of the hospital visit could really add up. There's potential for overdraft fees or, again, missed bills. If you have family, children at home, pets, farm animals that need attention on a regular basis, and you're desperately calling people last minute to get help with kids getting them on and off the bus or fed. There's just so much going on when you're having to all of a sudden focus all your attention in one area that this can be a very high stress time. And when everything else around you seems to be falling apart because of your inability to pay attention to them, or it can be really hard. However, If you find yourself with an abundance of support from your social networks or community, you could have a neighbor who steps up and mows the lawn, takes out the trash, or even picks up the mail. You could have family members coming over and taking care of pets or farm animals. Friends or coworkers may start a meal train or stock your freezer full of food so when you are home, you have something to eat. A trusting family member or friend could be helping out with the children on a regular basis or even allow them to stay at their house. Someone could organize a GoFundMe or a benefit such as a spaghetti dinner to help with the increase in medical expenses. And even just when you're out and about in the community, people are going to say hi, ask how you're doing, and genuinely reach out. So your stress level is still going to be high, but you may feel that it's more manageable and you can focus on that sick spouse or loved one because you've had people step up from your social network and help you with the daily things that you were used to doing. So as you can see, the same situation can be very different based on someone's community support. Research has shown that those who live in or have developed a strong social and community network are happier, typically have an overall higher life satisfaction, have a tendency to make better choices, and just overall feel supported in all areas of their life. And these people are less likely to feel lonely. You can improve your social systems through a lot of different ways. So if you're sitting there thinking, gosh, I really don't know what would happen if I'm in that situation, think about things that you can do now. For example, joining clubs or social groups, whether that's a recreational sports league, a book club, a dog walking club. There's so many things out there within the different communities that you could join just because you might have a commonality with someone. And, all of a sudden these people are going to become your friends and you're going to develop relationships with them. People who attend a church or reconnect with the church, and that's a great place to find a very solid support group. And even just look within your current social network or family. Reconnect with the people that you have in your life and make sure that you are interacting with them on a regular basis. Call them up, have them over for dinner, grab a cup of coffee, make a phone call and just ask how they're doing. Or if you see other people in, having a hard time or needing some extra support, lend a hand because it's really going to pay dividends in the end. So building and maintaining relationships, whether it's with friends, families, coworkers, it's not always easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it. Now, another item I want to talk about is technology, because technology can bring people together from, all over the world. At the touch of a button, we can connect, interact, and develop relationships with people. Then why are we feeling such an influx of loneliness across the country? And research is showing that a lot of times these relationships lack meaning, so they don't often offer us the emotional support we need. Sometimes they even make us feel that we don't measure up. So if you're looking at someone's pictures on their social media account or their Twitter account and all you're seeing is a nice car or a great vacation or this smiling family, and internally you just think their life looks perfect and that yours doesn't measure up, it can bring up some negative feelings within yourself. And also a lot of times these relationships lack human contact or connection. So, just liking someone or leaving a comment on someone's Facebook page or even just sending a text, doesn't always really develop a strong connection with that person. So there's something intangibly real and valuable about talking with someone face to face. And this is significant for the relationships you develop with friends, potential employers, and other reoccurring people that make up your everyday world. So those people become important existing human connections and not just someone who you're texting or their voice pops up on your cell phone, iPad, or computer screen. They're a real tangible person that you're interacting with. And another thing I think it's really important to address in a relationship to technology is loneliness in our youth, especially because if you remember at the beginning, we discussed how, loneliness is not just something those who are elderly deal with. And the use of technology and the time spent on smart devices and phones has increased significantly over the past decade. And this is especially with our youth. So according to PsychCentral.com, the young, however, are subject to a wide range of moods. So they may be up one morning, down that evening, or even up and down several times within a day. They can be bored and restless to the point of just being unhappy and for no clear reason. When they're not sought after and included in all activities of their peers, their self-esteem takes a hit. When they are lonely, they oftentimes blame themselves and resort to activities that exclude social connection or productivity, such as watching too much television, drugs, gaming, or other negative behaviors. So when you couple these feelings with too much time spent on social media or gaming, it can be very detrimental to one's health and often makes one feel lonely. Even if that person has 5,000 followers on social media and 100 comments for every post, it can really be hard for the youth because they're not always at an age where they're mature enough to be able to handle the different emotions or work through hard times, especially if those hard times are making them feel isolated or lonely. So I think it's really important that we reach out to people and offer our assistance if we think anyone that we love is feeling lonely in any way. So we really must make an effort to maintain and support healthy relationships with our family, friends, coworkers, and neighbors. So I'm challenging you to put your phone away and to get out and get involved. It's okay to enjoy your quiet time, but do it because you want to be alone and you enjoy that solitude. Don't be afraid to seek help if you constantly feel alone or depressed, or if you suspect that a friend or loved one is. Sometimes doing these things can be work, seeking help, developing relationships, but in the end it's definitely going to be worth it, and it could even add years to your life. Thank you for joining me and learning more about the health benefits of social interaction and how society impacts well-being. I hope you make it a healthy day.